can also give you a copy later. So I can talk to you rather than taking notes.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me get you properly. Okay, I was wondering if you can tell me from the beginning. My father went to St. Joseph's School, right?
Yeah, I did not know.
Oh, you didn't know about that. So in 1941, the first bombs came in December. And I think in your book you also said there was some bombs, all the students.
At 1941, that was on the eve of Chinese New Year.
Yeah, right.
The Japanese bomb.
Yes.
7 bombs.
7 bombs.
Not one hit the area shelter.
Right.
Otherwise, I've gone with my parents.
Oh, okay.
You can call it.
Where was the air raid shelter that you and your parents?
That time we were staying in Mackenzie Road.
Oh, next to Elizabeth.
Is it?
The home was 142. Which number was yours?
I cannot. I think it was.
It was just round the corner.
It was facing the main road,
Such
Bukit
a
Timah
small
Road.
world.
Yeah. I think it was a 93 or 95.
Yeah, the bombs came.
Yeah.
Her house was bombed.
Yeah. It was a rented house.
Right.
Lucky you all went to the area, the underground area shelter when the siren sounded. And then the back portion of the house was bombed.
Her house too?
Yeah, there was a rented house. So at the back, the kitchen all gone.
Where was the bomb shelter in Mackenzie Road?
So we next to the house, there was like a pathway.
Yes.
And then after the pathway, there was a dobe. There was a dobe.
Oh, dobe man.
Dobe. And then at the back, the dobe used to hang the clothing.
Right.
That's why we got permission to make an underground area shelter. So when the siren sounded, we all rushed. Yeah.
My auntie, my mother used to live along Siligi Road.
Oh, Siligi Road.
Him Seng and Son. Her father ran piano shop.
Oh.
Yeah.
I know
he
got an aero modeling shop at Siligi Road.
Also?
Yeah.
Is it, whose shop was that?
Vincent.
Vincent had an aero modeling shop.
That's why as a schoolboy, I did not have money. Just stood outside to admire the plane.
Oh, so nice the story.
Then have to go inside.
But did my father notice you standing outside?
That time I did not know him yet.
Oh, he just stood at the store.
Until one day, my father brought me to the shop.
Oh, to buy you a model.
To buy me a model plane.
Right, wow.
And
what is the model? Oh my God.
This is the model plane. Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay, that's good. I can see it. That's it, I can show you, yeah.
Made by Jim Walker.
Jim Walker was well known, is it?
Yeah, he well known.
And you still kept that and you never built the plane?
In fact, this one...
It's a rubber powered, right? Rubber band.
It's a catapult.
Oh, catapult. Oh, it's going to open. Oh, wonderful.
This is my childhood memory.
Wonderful, and you kept it so well. Oh, so well done.
Very unique.
Do they still have it? Careful.
No more.
I'll hold it while you go down. I'll hold it. Yeah, careful.
Rubber band. See?
Yes. Careful. Did you drop something?
Yeah.
Let me hold this. Let me hold this. What a wonderful story. Yeah, don't lose anything. Oh, that part. I will get it, Uncle. Hold on. You hold the plane. I will get it. You hold the plane. It's near me, yeah? Made of balsa wood, yeah? Balsa wood.
This was a plane.
Beautiful.
I don't remember how.
Jim Walker. I wonder whether you can still get from eBay, maybe.
I do not know. You see, this plane is very unique.
Beautiful.
You got to launch, you got to fold it.
Right.
And then,
yes. Or when you launch, you fold it. Right. And the wing will.
Yeah, once you go to the top.
Yes. The wing will. Fantastic.
Very unique plane.
Right.
Yeah. So
thank you so much for showing me.
You know Jim Walker?
Yes.
You know the Wright brothers?
The Wright brothers, yes.
Did the first flight.
Yes. Jim Walker?
Jim Walker was a father of aero modeling.
Oh, he started.
Yeah, he was
the father, the pioneer of aero modeling.
He started to use balsa wood.
Right.
for model aircraft, and then old petrol engine.
Yes.
So he was a
The father,
inventor.
Jim Walker, must go in there.
So this is a very unique thing I treasure very much.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Better put it, put it
And
away.
this was sold by Vincent Hoisington.
Is it? Oh, he sold it.
Yeah.
Let me see.
So
Came with the box. So he brought them in.
yeah. Where,
He must have been hanging around the British people because they would know
who?
Vincent. He must have.
I did not know him
He's so young.
until my father bought a house in Frankel Estate in the early
Frankel
years.
Estate, okay.
Number, during the year 1951. I met Mr. Marikan.
Okay.
You know
Oh,
me?
Marikan's. Is that the famous Marikan store?
He was with a group, including Vincent.
Right,
He formed the first aero modeling club.
He was only 17 years
Yeah.
old in 1941.
Yeah, that's
Take
right.
another. The plane is so beautiful.
This is a very
I love
unique
it,
plane.
yes.
I kept it as a
I
souvenir.
always notice the aero modeler shot is always on top, right? So you got to put it higher. Yeah. I always see the aero modelers will hold their plane up.
So it's
So
a very
wonderful.
I treasure this plane
Right.
very
Right.
unique. You cannot get
Yeah.
this plane anymore. And so
Please put it away carefully. Beautiful. I'll try and find on eBay. Maybe in the States they always have old.
in the States they have all the.
So you kept this from 1941. This is
That's
almost.
right. So in fact it was written here.
What is this? Ah, yes, I know. My
Yeah.
father. That was a lovely
Yeah.
photo. Can I use that in the book? Yeah, that's wonderful. How old was he? He was 17, right?
Then I did not.
1941, he was 17. Very young.
Yeah.
Very young now. Was this designed by
Yeah.
him? It looks a bit
Yeah.
like father's design.
Yeah, I think this
I
one
think so.
your
This typical
Singapore Aero Modeling Society.
Yeah, typical.
Yeah. So this are all the
I
history.
didn't know he was vice
Yeah.
president. I saw it. This was on the CD-ROM. I wanted to ask one more picture.
This is about myself.
Yes,
How-
very good.
Yeah.
I like your. You must talk about
this
what.
the letter, the envelope.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. There was another picture.
Then this is
Very good story. Maybe I should write a book about you.
Then,
yeah, this one.
These are the founder.
Okay, the founders.
Yeah, the founder.
1952.
But
That was a long time. 10 years. He
In fact,
was.
they formed it before the war. In the 1940s.
That means he was still there for 10 years. 1941 to
1940.
Of course, the break after the war.
Then came the
3 years was a
Yeah.
break.
So this Marikan,
Yes,
he was
Marikan.
my mentor.
Right.
So he introduced me, he brought me
To
to
Vincent,
Vincent.
yeah.
Then later on, Vincent became my mentor
Okay.
in the aero modeling.
Right. I wanted to
Yeah,
ask one more picture. Whether is it here? Or was it Mr. Marikan or was
Yeah,
it
Mr.
Vincent? Let me see. Oh, these are the later ones. It's the early ones.
These
that
are the early stage.
I have the picture, so.
Yeah.
Now tell me, during the war years, did the society stop? Did the society stop during the war?
You see, when the Japanese came in,
Yes.
I told you behind our rented house
Yes.
was a bomb.
Bombed, yeah.
So we vacated the house.
Right.
So I went, we all sneak through the back lane
Yes.
of this the government quarters
Right.
in KK there. And then somehow to MacPherson Road, like that to MacPherson area, a lot of coconut tree. We tried to avoid the Japanese.
Yes, yes.
And then we all went to stay with my grandma and my uncle.
Right.
Yeah.
You were then about 10 years old, right?
No, seven
10 years.
plus.
Yeah, so
I did not go to school
My
for
father was
3.5 years during the Japanese occupation.
So what happened? You all didn't go to school, just hid from the Japanese.
Yeah.
You couldn't, because you're very young.
Yeah.
My father worked for the Japanese doing technical drawings.
Vincent, eh?
Yeah, Vincent. And
I know he's very good in art.
in art,
Yeah,
even
yeah.
from very young.
Yeah, that's right.
Right. And apparently he found work with the Japanese because he could do technical drawings. And apparently he told us was that he painted zeros.
Yeah, you know.
But from my research, there were no zeros who flew into Singapore. So I have a feeling when the British planes were captured, they painted the red.
Yeah.
They painted over the
Basically,
British planes.
Yeah, the
More correct, right?
the Dakota transport
There were
plane.
buffaloes,
No,
Dakota.
buffalo is a
Hopeless
the
guy.
Dakota.
Dakotas, okay.
DC-3. This is
okay.
Allied Forces transport aircraft.
Right.
Some of them were captured by the
That's
Japanese,
right.
and then they painted the red.
So my father
I
helped
saw Geylang. I was staying in Geylang.
Really?
Saw the thing went up.
So I think that story is true, where that means he painted not zeros, he painted the
You were right.
Dakotas.
The single engine fighter.
Yes, never came. Zeros never
No,
came.
not zero. I think it's,
Mitsubishi, the GM.
No, it's not Mitsubishi is zero. They make zero. It's a Japanese one.
They also make the bombers.
Yeah.
The GM something.
They call
Yeah. No, your first two chapters very interesting.
there's an opening.
So
Yes.
you have verified the story that my father painted for the Japanese, the captured Dakota trees,
Yeah.
painted it like Japanese, the
The
Japanese.
Dakota was a transport plane. It's not a
Yes.
fighter.
Now, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like the C-130.
Can I
Yeah,
look at the
now
photo?
that you told me, now you will help me. So you were quite young because when my father was vice president of SAS, he was only 17. That was very young.
And then I don't.
And then
I remember he has an elder brother, isn't it?
yes, he had three brothers in England. In England.
I know one was in England.
Walter, William.
Walter.
He had five
So big.
siblings.
I did not know.
He had
I know he has a brother.
Walter William was an architect. Walter was a nuclear physicist. His sister Rini was a doctor. His
very-
sister Daphne taught him how to play. Did you ever hear him
Yeah.
play the piano?
When I went to Mongolia, I used to hear piano.
He's a
Yeah,
pianist.
Yeah.
Loved the piano.
Oh, he plays piano.
Yeah. So we can say that my father started as a aeroplane man. Actually, my mother's family used to make fun of him.
Yeah.
My mother's father didn't approve of the marriage because
Is it?
mixed race.
Yeah, mixed race.
Mixed race, never in 1950, right? So my mother was quite rebellious in that sense, lah. I mean, she loved my father. So her father ostracized her.
Is it?
Because he had an arranged marriage, I think, with some tauke. My mother was very pretty and very smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, so quite an interesting
I did.
story also.
Do you know S. Danabalan?
No, does he know?
S. Danabalan at one time he was the chief of the Temasek group.
What year? 1970s or 80s, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
S. Danabalan.
Were you friends?
Yeah, we were classmates
Oh.
in Victoria School.
Right. My husband went to Victoria School. I was
Victoria
there.
School.
Wonderful.
He married my friend's sister, who is a Chinese.
Oh.
Whole family.
Oh, same. Because
he
1950.
just go ahead. He just went ahead with that.
Danabalan,
Yeah.
My mother did aero modeling too. She was always
I did not know. I did not.
My mom was very supportive. So very interesting. My father ran a aero modeling shop in Siligi Road.
Yeah, that's
Where
right.
my mother's father ran a piano shop.
Could you? But I don't think it's the same shop. Eh?
No, it won't be the same shop. But I was told that I wanted to ask you, after the war, you managed to find education or you worked?
See,
You went back to the
when the
area?
Japanese surrendered,
Yes, 1945.
1945,
Yeah.
I went back to school.
Which school was that?
Geylang English School.
Oh,
It was
That means very old at school.
I think it's also
Very old at
in the
school.
archive
Okay.
between around 19 and 21. It was a Malay school. After the war, no facility.
Yes, yes,
It
yes.
was a Malay school
Right.
in the morning for the Malay.
Oh, interesting.
And then in the afternoon, it was an English school.
Oh, for the Chinese.
Yeah. Most of the students were overage. including me.
course.
Because you did not go to school
Because
for
of war.
3.5 years. So
Yes.
before the war, I was in Mangsil.
Mangsil, that's famous, yeah.
Primary one.
Yeah.
After a short while, the Japanese.
Sure.
So we all did not go to school until 1945. A lot overage. I went to Standard 1.
How old were you? You were about
Standard
7.
1, no.
You were 10.
Then about 10 plus.
Yeah.
I went to Standard 1 last time under the British. It was
Standard 1, I remember
Primary
that.
1, Primary 2,
That's
Standard
right.
1. Then Standard 2, Standard 3,
Oh,
Standard 4,
right.
Standard 5.
Okay.
But we had also entrance exam.
Okay.
That's how I went to Victoria School.
So why did my father not continue? My father didn't continue with school after the war because he was 17 years old. You were younger.
Yeah. About 10
Maybe
years.
he thought just carry on with working in.
But I know Vincent was a very smart person.
Yes, my grandfather was ACS, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Founder of ACS.
I saw the name.
ACS.
Your grandfather.
Yeah, my grandfather. He did the school anthem,
Yeah.
and then his best is yet to be.
My son,
Oh, right, ACS. Oh, tell them you met me. Yeah. So Vincent didn't think about continuing with education. So I think he chose his route as an artist after that.
I know. Later on, when I went to Singapore Polytechnic, I saw his artwork display.
Yes. Did you take photos? Oh,
No,
I'm trying to
that
find.
that
I
time-
have only one. Yeah.
I know. He
What year was that? 1956.
1957, I went to Singapore Poly
Okay,
at Prince Edward Road. No?
Correct.
Yeah.
He did it in 1956.
Yeah.
Prince
I saw his
Philip opened the school in 1959. Were you there?
59. Yeah, I was
Yeah, that
there.
means you're one of the students.
57, 58, 59.
There were photos of
Yeah.
students. Maybe you're one of them.
No. I attend evening class.
Evening time.
No,
okay.
not the full
So
time.
were you working in the day?
Yeah,
Oh, good for you.
I was a temporary school teacher.
Oh, good.
No,
you
no.
taught, but you learned.
Not the village school, no.
Oh, where?
At that hard zinc roof.
Really?
Only 5 classrooms.
Very fun.
They call village school.
Which village was that?
It was in Jalan Yunus. I was teaching English,
Clever you.
temporary.
Right. So at least some income, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So evening I attended
Very
Polytechnic.
smart. Very
Because-
hardworking.
My father could not afford to send me overseas.
What was your father?
My father was an accountant.
Accountant.
He brought me, when I passed my standard 4 in Geylang
Yes,
English
yes.
School,
Yeah.
I asked him to buy me a model aircraft. He brought me to
Oh,
the Siligi shop.
which is my father's shop.
And
Do you know the name of the shop?
I did not know.
Because when we were young, my father would take us to the Orchard toy shop. Remember Orchard Road?
There I did not
Opposite, selling trains, and that's where we used to buy our.
know. I know High Street. High Street. I think that was a shop called Aurora.
Aurora,
They
okay.
are selling clothing.
Yes.
Then there was a piano shop.
TMA.
TME, that's
Yes.
right. He's-
Owned by
yeah.
my cousins,
it?
mother's side,
Oh,
my uncles. Yeah.
they did sell model aircraft, but not flying.
Radio control.
No.
No,
That time,
airfix.
No, it's a solid wood. You have to carve yourself.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Just buy the block of wood.
No, they design.
Oh, they have a
and then,
pattern.
you have to carve. And it's not balsa wood, no, it's a hardwood.
You see, the Choys were connected.
TMA, I remember. I think also
The
archive in
Choi is connected. My grandfather ran his piano shop. His cousin ran the TMA.
Yeah.
So they were all in the piano business.
Oh, yeah, I know, selling piano.
But it's so funny you tell me that they also sell aeroplanes. And my father was also selling
on the
aeroplanes. So
Yeah, in the small
funny.
corner. In the small corner.
Yeah, such a small world.
Yeah.
I must write your story in a proper book. Let me do that for you one day.
Okay.
Yeah?
So,
And you must tell me, are you in contact with a lot more of your other aero modelists? No, many of them gone.
Gone already.
Yeah. Frank Atkinson.
Atkinson, I
Your
know.
story there.
Yeah.
Now I can link.
Robinson. Yeah.
Atkinson was also in the SAS.
Yeah, that's right.
So this is the link when my father used to do the decoration for Robinson. Remember he
That's I
painted the
remember
winter scenes.
at the old Robinson.
Right. Do you know what
At the
year that
Raffles
was?
Place.
Do you know 1951? 52?
No, let me
Because
think
that's
back.
an important year. When did he start Robinson's? He was actually teaching at Petro Piano Shop. He started as a music teacher first.
Yeah, I
You
know.
can't remember, right? Frank Atkinson. This was my This,
Wow.
my father was also teaching his eldest son aero modeling. This is an 8-foot.
God.
Look at the balsa wood. He used to have us all build planes.
Could it be the same plane as it? There's a similar
Similar one, eh? We all used to build planes, all
Yeah.
even including myself.
I
And then
used
we
to.
go down to Bedok. Remember Siglap when they dug the sand dune, we would fly there.
Oh, Bedok, no.
Yeah, gliders. Here's another shop. See how tall this, see how big the
This
plane
here,
is?
this plane
Right.
could be the same as this one.
No, it could be this one actually. Is
You
it
see
that one?
there?
Oh, okay.
But this was done by.
Yeah, no, my brother did that.
Oh,
Yeah. We all built planes.
but it's a big plane. You know.
Yeah, it's very big. Eight
That-
feet. Yeah, something like this. This is the same. See, my brother. Can you see? It's taller than him. My brother at 9 years old or 10 years old built this plane. This is my father. Very old photo.
Oh, this is a glider.
Glider. I think this was when he was very young. My mother, this was, remember they used to fly at the University of Malaya,
Oh,
Bukit
yeah,
Timah?
yeah.
Were you there too?
Yeah, I
Bukit
used to
Timah.
follow Mr. Marikan to see Vincent there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you tell me, my mother with the car, is that, looks like my father's writing also. Is that the shop?
Radio Center. What
Yeah.
year is it?
Did you remember at O'Connor's store? O'Connor's?
I heard of
O'Connor's selling radio parts and all that. I think it's for your radio control planes, right? The radio.
Radio Center.
It looks like my father's writing also.
I remember
Yeah.
in the early 60s.
Yes, 60s, okay.
You know, again, my father
Your father was very.
contacted Vincent.
Your father
In the
knew him.
early 60s,
Yes.
there was a record shop
Yeah.
at East Coast Road.
East Coast, okay.
This,
It
this,
could be that.
this could be
Yes, he was
he's selling records.
correct.
Yeah.
Paul
And then
O'Connor's
my father was doing his account on a part-time basis.
for Vincent's shop.
Yeah.
Oh, that means they were quite close.
Yeah.
I hope my
See,
father gave you a
my
good
father
discount.
brought me to his shop.
I hope he gave him a good
So,
discount.
and
Gave
after
you
some time,
beautiful.
this could be the shop along East Coast Road.
Okay, thank you.
The record shop.
Because that looks like his writing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my father was doing his account on a part-time basis.
Part-time basis. Look at me with the pits. When I was in the USA, I went to see the real pits.
Yeah, pit
It's
special.
an acrobatic
It's a pit
thing.
special.
Yeah. It's not the skips that was in your small
No,
modeling.
no, no.
eh? But it looks the
This
same.
one is pit
It's
special.
the same.
This one,
Look at me
Skips.
with, this is me with the plane. So even from very young, I was involved with my father's.
because
This is my father again. I don't know how old he was.
there is we call the free flight.
Free flight, yeah? Remember the house?
You're-
I show you some pictures of the Magnolia Road.
His
This
ma-
one was later. This was 72, just before he passed away. He made a gallery,
Yeah, I remember it was a single-story bungalow.
single store. But you were there in the 50s or 60s?
I went there in the 50s.
Because mentor, right?
50.
Was he painting then? Did you see big paintings?
No, I never go to the big
Never
house.
into the big.
Only to the small
the small little servants' quarters.
Like a
we see.
garage,
That's
where,
right.
where all his plate.
Yeah.
I
This
never
is my
stepped-
brother Henry. He was very good with his hands. That's the katisa. He built a lot of planes actually. He's very detailed. He's now doing architectural models.
I did not know Vincent has
His children.
how
he
many
never
children?
met. Four.
So you are number one.
I was number one.
Number one.
Actually, did you remember when my father got married? Because I can't
No, I
find
did
that
not know.
date. There was another.
I only came to your father during aeroplane competition with
Oh, the
with the RAF. With the RAF.
in
Yeah.
Seletar. So at least there's a connection between during the war. Yeah, so I think that's a good connection. Now I want you to help me with some of these pictures. He did an exhibition. Oh, I hope I brought it. He did an exhibition, I believe, of aeroplanes. I don't know whether you can see. There was an exhibition of model aeroplanes. That's my father in our house. Can you see?
Yeah. Again with the. I think that is again.
This exhibition, you are
glider.
exhibiting all your model planes.
Yeah.
Can you remember where? This one. These pictures are so old. Do you remember this guy? Is that you?
There is some writing over here.
Oh. Did you remember this guy? Is that you?
No.
This one?
I never viewed
You
this.
must have exhibited here.
I never viewed this plate. It's not me.
This exhibition, was some of your planes there? There was also
This one is
remember
at
that?
the Shell Sport Club.
Shell Sports
I think
Club.
also inside.
Also there. Where is the Shell Sports Club? Not Buko, right?
Pai Leba.
Pai Leba. See, you all had competitions. You flew the planes too. Very nice. See the planes there? I'm sure your plane is there.
No.
No? I think these look like aero model planes.
You see the circle,
This was me with the box plane.
Is it?
Small. Yeah. Loud.
you know the one with the passport number, the circle.
So Shell, yeah, must remember that. The Shell Sports Club.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Oh, you got even more pictures.
I think just now you showed me, could it be this person?
Could be, yes. He had a picture of that. Oh,
Yeah.
this one is not in the CD-ROM, is it?
Yeah, inside
It is.
CD-ROM.
Okay, I only stopped
In
that
fact,
chapter.
Yeah.
He may ask me, where
And this is me. Mine always a small plane.
Right, I
Racing.
can take
Racing plane.
Right.
I like
Let me take.
fast
So
plane.
it is in the book, yeah. I must
Yeah.
remember. Where can you point again? Okay.
I
let's
always
see.
like fast plane.
I try.
Oh, you like the fast planes.
Yeah,
What
small.
about your favorite models?
Racing plane normally are small.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So you were more like the
Just
aero
now you
modelers.
show me could
Yes,
be
it could be
Yeah.
that. It looks very similar.
Yeah.
Wow, these things are precious. How big is there an aero modelers club? Because I went to write to them, no answer.
Where?
I wrote to the aero modelers club asking anyone knows about Vincent Hoyzenter, no reply.
Some people today
Yeah.
know
They wouldn't know, right? Too young.
the model shop
Yes.
at Phu Thai maybe RMS
Yes.
shop.
Oh, okay. What does RMS means? Radio?
Radio modeling of Singapore.
Oh, they wouldn't know, right?
The young people all don't know.
So you're the only one left over.
Yeah. Yes.
None of your. What a shame that.
Some of them younger than me.
You know, Singapore only got interested in history a few years ago.
You know what made me to start this?
Very good.
When I went to the Air Force,
Yes.
I totally stopped aero modeling.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you, how did you went to school, or you went to poly to learn aviation?
No, police were later.
Or later?
When 1957,
Yeah.
I stopped aero modeling.
Oh, why? Just lost interest?
You know, I don't mind telling you,
Please tell me.
I was so passionate about making model plane.
Yeah.
Then
You forgot to eat and sleep.
No, I neglected my study.
Oh, you were so obsessed.
Yeah, I'm one kind.
Yes.
If I like the thing, I will go all out for it.
Sure, you're dedicated.
Yeah. This is my
What year was that?
my nature.
1950. You were in poly, right? So 19.
Poly, I already stopped.
Finished. Oh.
Because I realized my father scolded me. No, I'm not a dumb person.
No, I'm sure not.
You see, I told you S. Danabalan
Yes, yes,
in Victoria School.
yes.
That time, I did not start my aero modeling. I was in standard 6,
Right, okay.
which is equivalent today Sec 1.
Set one, okay.
Standard 6, 3 terms, my position was 6.
Okay, that's bad, right?
That's good.
Oh, that's good. Okay, 6 is
6.
good. Oh, 6 is good.
Every
Oh,
term,
I thought everybody
every
must be
term,
1 or 2.
I cannot forget.
You are a
Stand-
good student. Yeah.
In standard 6, first, second, third term, all my position 6.
Wow.
S. Danabalan,
Was 7.
second.
Oh, he's clever.
First was an English boy, whose father was a major. First.
You remember the name? You know the English guy's
The
name?
English guy, John something, I forgot. So, then I went to, when you're good,
Yes.
when you promoted to standard 7, which is Sec 2,
Right.
I went to the B class.
Wow, that's very good.
Normally the first 50 or 40
Yes, yes.
go A,
Yes.
then second B, and then C.
Was A the most science
Yeah.
students?
No, not science.
Not, in my time, A was science, B was
Big go.
yeah.
And then all the black one in A.
Oh, black one.
First 40 or something like that.
Oh, the
So
B students.
I came under B.
Oh, B is very good.
As Malang went to A. And that was a time I neglected my study.
Why?
Because
You
I
felt
couldn't.
no point. You didn't get into A.
Every time I heard about aero modeling contest, I would start to build plane and all
Your
that.
father wasn't happy.
And then I was an overage student.
Why?
And then in the end, in the early years during the British time, they streamed this standard 6 at that time D 4 classes. And then when you go to standard 7, only
2 classes.
3 classes.
3 classes.
So one class will be pushed to afternoon school. And then me also. Although I managed to pass my standard 7, but I could not go to standard 8 because
The streaming.
because there were only 2
So
classes.
only for elite, only the
Yeah.
cleverest got into
So
school.
I was given a pass standard 7 certificate and I got to leave school. So I went to private school.
Right.
Yeah,
Which private school was that?
Christchurch. Have you heard of Christchurch?
No, that's very.
It's private. So then I realized I have to. I cannot keep on doing this.
Yes.
I was scolding from my father, everything.
Of course, your father
So
was not pleased.
from 1957, I gave up all aero modeling totally. So I went to poly study. Then I was in the auxiliary air force.
Yes, okay. 57, I mean Singapore was still under Malaya.
Oh, it's under British.
Still under British.
Yeah,
63 only, right?
Malaysia got independent in 57.
So on your birth certificate, you're British
Yeah.
citizen, right? Or
No,
British
we call British subject.
subject, correct?
British subject.
Yeah. I think I'm also British subject.
Yeah. So as I said, I gave up all my aeromodeling. Then I worked myself up.
Yes, yes.
You know, I mentioned our flying club.
Yes.
I went to the flying club
Yeah.
to learn about aircraft engineering
yes.
for 2.5 years, no pay.
To the aircraft club to learn engineering.
Yeah.
Who was running it? The British and all that. Is
At
it?
that time I was under the British.
Right. Okay.
You see, the flying instructor were the ex-RAF pilot.
That's right. They were still there.
Train our local, those who want to do flying.
Was it a bit atas hanging around with the white British?
Yeah.
Was it a slightly atas a bit?
Yeah.
Yeah, when you can hang around, speak English.
The chief engineer and chief instructor
Yeah.
was Rudy Fry.
Rudy Fry, F-R-Y. Wow, sounds like good times.
I went there 2.5 years. And that time I was teaching in the village school.
Yeah, the
So,
park
yeah.
atap
So
house.
I absorbed a lot of aircraft because I planned one day
Yeah.
Singapore will buy an aircraft,
Yeah.
basic. So I prepared myself.
Right.
So in Singapore,
Was it a Fokker they bought?
no,
Which was the first plane?
for Cessna.
The Cessna Chipmunk.
No, Chipmunk.
Chipmunk later. Okay.
Chipmunk. No. Chipmunk was under the flying club.
I used to work for
So-
Piper.
Piper also under
Peter
flying
the
club.
Bro went to Seletar every time
Yeah,
I'll be
that's
there.
right.
Yeah.
You see,
Right, interesting.
when Singapore was out of Malaysia,
Yeah, 65.
first 3 years Singapore had no aircraft. So I went into the army.
Right.
I got commissioned. But I told, first 3 years SAF had no aircraft.
Right.
I went into the army and I became a commissioned officer.
Well done.
I told the recruiting officer, I'm basically aircraft discipline. When
That guy's
Singapore
voice is
buy
so
the
loud.
first aircraft, please earmark me and put me there.
Yes.
Because army is not my cup of tea.
I can't hear your voice. The guy is so
I say,
loud.
army is not my cup of tea.
Yeah, you're an aircraft
So the
guy.
moment SAF bought the first aircraft, I was taken up.
It was a Cessna that they bought for training the
Yeah,
pilots,
yeah.
is it? Okay.
We bought a new Cessna. And then I was involved in assembling of the plane. Because of my knowledge in the youth flying club.
Yeah, very good.
It's all in the book.
So you never joined.
So I did very well.
How did you become a mechanic?
So I became a, and then Lee Kuan Yew was watching the development of our first aircraft.
Lee Kuan Yew was watching development of aircraft.
Yeah. As I said,
In
you
what way did he drop by and look?
Yeah, he asked Dr. Goh Keng Swee,
Go Keng Swee, yeah.
who was a defense minister. Who was the defense minister?
Who was it?
Defense minister.
Yeah.
So he used to come to Seletar to see how he developed. So I did very well.
Did you meet him? Did you
Yeah,
meet
of
Lee
course.
Kuan Yew?
Yeah.
Wow,
No,
well done.
not Lee
Oh,
Kuan
the
Yew.
defense minister.
Yeah,
Do you know the name?
Dr. Goh Keng Swee.
Oh, Go Keng Swee was defense. Yeah, he was mastermind in Singapore.
So I did very well.
Yeah.
So I got a chance to go to England.
Where? To do
Cranwell.
Cranwell.
Yeah. So I did very well. I got promoted very fast. Every
Well
year.
done. What a success story.
You see what I lost during my
Yes.
early days in the school is being compensated.
Yes, that's
Every
right.
year I was promoted.
They say, right? It's
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
I mean, school will not help you. It's what the
Yeah,
opportunities
yeah.
that come.
I
And you
thought-
were street smart.
Yeah, I predicted
You are very
Singapore
smart.
will need some sort of basic aircraft. That's why I came in. So I fit into
You already had seen the future and you
I
planned very
predicted.
good.
So I fit into the organization.
So your official mechanic job was with Malayan Airways or Singapore, Malaya Singapore, MAS or?
No, MAS. Malayan Auxiliary Air Force was only a starting point.
Right.
Yeah. Do you know Jimmy Chew?
No, I mean
Jimmy Chew, very close friend with Elizabeth Taylor. Jimmy Chew.
Elizabeth Taylor or Elizabeth
No,
Choi?
Elizabeth Choi.
Not really.
Sorry, Elizabeth.
Jimmy Chu. I
Chew.
think I'll find out from the
Yeah.
family.
he also suffered during the Japanese occupation.
That's why we don't know the story.
It's in my book.
I will read.
Yeah.
I will read. You see, we want to also know more other people who survived the war.
Yeah.
Because they're focused only Elizabeth Chua, but I'm sure there are many people.
If your
Jimmy
passed
Chu.
away
Oh,
before every year during the memorial.
yes,
year,
memorial. Yeah, we just had one.
they all together
What was
honored by the
what
by the
happened
British.
to Jimmy Chu? Was he tortured? What was he doing that the
You see,
Japanese tortured him?
为什么
He was
为什么这些
very lucky.
其实是我
He,
们说你干嘛
he was supposed to be sent to the Burma Railway
Oh, okay.
because he did some mechanical thing.
Yes.
So he was
Okay, just by luck he wasn't in the Burma.
Otherwise you have suffer all this.
Oh, so he was one the Sukching type of thing.
Yeah, Sukching.
Right. I wanted to show you this picture. That's not my father, right? That's Mr. Marikan, right? Can you see? Can I make it brighter? Let me make it brighter.
This man?
Yeah.
No. Definitely
Not Vincent.
No, Vincent. No.
Okay,
no,
because it didn't quite look that Vincent. Vincent is thinner. I found this on the Straits Times. They will give me the
This
photo.
one is Vincent.
Yeah, I will maybe give you a copy. Yeah. So this was the article they wrote about the Singapore Aeromodeler Society. This was in the press. And then another one. Oops, another picture was this one. Another picture was him
就是下面的单
This
子
with Teddy Holloway. Yeah.
This building looks
不
like
可能成功。
the school.
Looks like Victoria School,
Yeah.
right?
No, Victoria School. It's an
Geylang.
ordinary school. I don't know.
No
That
way.
means this is
This is your
This one.
picture. You must know. It's your picture. That's you, right? Picture by.
this
Can't remember. But it looks like a government school.
Hague
They all
Road
look like
lah.
that.
This is at the Hague Road lah.
Hague Road. Okay.
So
One
this-
of the schools. Katong or something, is it?
Hague Road is
Hague Road in Katong.
Katong lah. So this one is not early years.
Not early years, later.
This could be in the 1960s.
I wanted to show you another picture which I will give you also. This one was my father, 1948. They featured him. Here's the article which I can pass to you. Here's some of the pictures. But there was another photo, this one. I think you're in this picture with my father, Teddy Holloway and all that. Let me see whether I can get another
我去想一
picture.
下，
Together with Teddy Holloway.
浪费
That means you never met Teddy Holloway, yeah?
浪费时间。
Your book is very good. I'm glad you put the story. Because if you don't put the story, people won't know.
Don't make it a archive of this. Oh, we've forgotten.
Where are you going to give this to? And anybody interested, maybe you should give to Singapore Archives.
I give to the Royal Singapore Flying Club
Good.
50 discs because they sponsor my book.
Oh, they sponsor. Good for you.
So I give to the manager.
Yes.
Timothy D'Souza.
You put it on a DVD, right?
Do you know
What's his name? D'Souza?
Timothy D'Souza?
No, is he still living?
Yeah.
He's still living.
His son is an MP now.
谁做都不会成功的。
Oh,
Clementi.
D'Souza.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. I want to show you another. Oh, no, this is your chapter. No, this was okay. That's part of your chapter. Yeah, all these stories were very interesting. You saw my, I was going to ask whether that was my father. You said no.
No.
Doesn't really look like
This
him.
one, this one is.
Doesn't really look
This
like
one just not the same.
Yeah, it's the same. And then of course, you are in here, right? You got also press. You were also in the press, right?
讲的东西
No, this is a RMS.
RMS. So, wow, but so interesting your story. Very good.
Yeah.
But do you think there's an interest in Singapore, the aero modeling, or now the
Sorry?
young people, are they interested in?
You see, today,
Yeah,
我是跟他讲，那时候我
they all want games.
today Oh, ready-made.
Ready-made, yeah.
During my time, we drew.
Yeah, balsa
We
wood.
bought the balsa wood from Atkinson. We cut,
Oh,
we
Robinson
drew.
brought in the
Yeah.
balsa. Now, they say that my father had a balsa wood tree in his home.
That's right.
They wrote in
In
the
fact,
press
he gave me
from
a
Amazon, from Ecuador.
he gave me a balsa tree, you know.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Did it
Yeah,
grow?
that time I was staying in Frankel.
Right.
Planted it until
Yeah.
it grew about
And
this
then what
high.
happened? The worms got it.
No, the wood is hard like stick.
Really hard
It's
in
not
Singapore.
soft.
The balsa
Because
wood
I
tree.
think balsa wood need
Grew up
temperate
to about 2
and
feet.
full of water.
It needs water?
Vincent gave me a
Oh,
balsa
it was
tree.
reported that he brought in the balsa wood tree seeds.
Yeah,
Because Teddy Holloway also brought.
talking about a tree, he gave me one. I
Right.
planted
He
in
grew in the
Frankel Estate.
garden.
I think,
I can't remember the balsa wood tree in the garden.
you still remember? Huh?
Yeah,
Good,
the
good.
balsa wood tree. So wow, so actually you filled in the gap for me. So you don't know when he got married. I was
I
born
do
in
not know.
1956.
Oh,
I have the wedding photos, but nobody wrote the date. Ayo, I might have to go to ROM to check.
19.
ROM has got it. So you didn't know him when he was mentoring you. Was what year?
Sorry?
When you went to the house in Stevens Road. What year was that?
What year? I remember in the early 50s.
50s, eh?
57, around 53 to 55 or 56.
Was he married?
That I did not
You
know.
never talked about.
I think it's a married rate.
Should have been married.
That's how I.
56 I was born.
That's how I came to know Agnes. The wife is Agnes.
But you don't know whether it's 52 or 53 they got married, eh?
Oh,
That's a missing link.
哦，你都不知道多么气，你知道吗？
I have to find that out. Wow, you really helped me with the early years. From school to war. So he decided not to carry on with school, but he ran his bottle shop, ran the radio shop, right? Married my mom, and he did some painting. You're saying that he would already be a painter, yeah?
I knew you were very good in art.
Art, yeah?
Yeah, handicraft also.
In what?
Handicraft.
Handicraft. Okay, yeah, he did a lot of work. Wow, thank you, Mr. Teo.
This is a
Anything else you want
This
to
is
show
a
me?
profile of me and my colleague.
Mr. Mani.
Yeah.
Okay, let's put it in front of the camera. And what is this about? Handmade models.
Yeah.
RAF. Okay.
Can you see?
Yeah, I can see. I just take this. Handmade models. And what year? 2016. All right. Wow. I will show you the book when it's finished.
Okay, good.
So the connection is this. Frank Atkinson was with the Aero Modelers Club. Through Frank Atkinson, he got the Robinsons to do all the big paintings
Yeah,
and
yeah,
displays.
that's right.
Atkinson was our godfather.
Atkinson and Vincent.
He was our godfather. So
Yeah.
Christmas time, we
Is
can
it?
buy any toy from the
I
shop.
heard his son is in Australia.
Is it? I must try and get him.
You see, some time ago, about more than 10 years,
How to connect?
I used to go to Robinson
Yes, yes.
with my wife.
Before the fire.
And then there was some senior staff woman. I say, do you know Mr. Atkinson? He said, yes.
Is she still living?
Yes. I don't know.
You
Yes,
don't
but
have any contacts.
he told me the son used to come to Singapore
Wow, how to
visit.
find him?
to visit.
That'll be interesting.
I say, if the son comes to Singapore,
Please contact you.
yeah, I give. They never.
Okay.
Yeah. I think now the staff also no more there.
Yeah,
No,
and
no,
the
the
new
new
Robinsons
staff.
wouldn't
Yeah.
know. Do you know Robinsons?
They knew the Robinson in Raffles Place. No?
My father used to do the Christmas.
Yeah, that's right.
And he used to be called Mr. Twig Man, right? Because he
Yeah.
would do all the twigs. Why?
Yeah, that's right. So that was something very
But do you know the year he died, 1972, Robinson also fire.
Really, all that was a time.
Remember the same, few months later, the whole place burned
Did he
down.
die of sickness or what?
Heart attack. Number 2 heart attack. And the first time he was driving us, he had a heart attack while driving the Taunus. Remember the station wagon? He managed to get home. But the second time, he was watching TV.
As I said, after 1957,
Oh, you lost
I
contact.
lost touch.
So he went
I gave
on
up.
to his art. I wanted to know why did he leave aero modeling?
Then I went to Singapore Polytechnic.
Yeah.
Then I saw his art. Yeah.
I wish you took a photo. Very rare to find a photo. When you saw his art, what feelings came up?
I saw his name, Vincent Hoisington. We were very proud.
Very proud,
But
huh?
I was only attending evening classes.
Yeah.
Not every day.
It's a shame now they throw everything away because Singapore not interested in art in the early years. Only now they're interested in art. Yeah, wonderful. Wow, I can't imagine how. I will try and find out how I can do a book. You know my book on my auntie. You saw at the top, right?
Yeah.
Yeah? How can I do the same thing for your book so people can just carry this little book? You got enough stories there.
Yeah. But later on, those are not, I don't think it's relevant to you.
No, I'm only interested in 50s and 60s.
Early years.
I would love to have your story with my father together and some of the old cronies. Never mind, one day. I mean, that's what I can offer you because I like to write books.
That's good.
Well, yeah.
I like historical things.
Yes.
And then bring it update
Yeah.
for the present generation.
And your World War II, very interesting. If I invited again to talk, I must have you
Yeah.
share your story. Because we want to hear ordinary people also, not just heroes and heroines.
Yeah. But sadly,
Yes.
my colleague, Mr. Mani,
Mr. Mani.
he's about 2.5 years my senior.
Okay.
But
He couldn't. Oh, dementia.
dementia.
Oh.
Very sad to say.
And Mr. Marikan also not living anymore.
He's
Oh,
gone.
he was the Marikan of the famous Marikan store, right, in High Street?
No.
Oh, a
nothing to
different
do.
one. Remember Marikan's?
He was a dental surgeon. His wife's still alive, you know.
Is it?
Yeah. And then
Maybe you should go and visit her.
I used to wish her every
yes.
Hari Raya. And then Stanley also, his wife was still around.
Right.
Because Stanley, every Chinese New Year, I wish Stanley.
Yes.
Then 2 years ago, I will say sorry to Teo. My husband passed away. So all the
Yes, all the
pioneer group,
stories are
all
gone.
gone. All the pioneers are
I
gone.
wanted to ask you whether you knew this Mr. Yap.
Yeah, I do not know.
You do not know Mr. Yap, right? He was very young. He was the youngest member from
That's why
Gan Eng Seng School. 16 years old.
I know Gan Eng Seng School.
Gan Eng Seng, yeah.
During that time, they were very good in
They were, is it?
aero modeling. And the one in charge was Peter
Yeah.
Lim. Peter Lim.
Peter Lim was in charge.
He was a school teacher there.
I will send you, I have your email, so I will send you that.
He's also mentioned in this book.
Peter Lim, I see the name there. It's not the famous Peter Lim, right? No, it's not.
This young I do not know.
And Jimmy Chu's story is very interesting.
Yeah.
And used to know my auntie.
Yeah. He was very close to Elizabeth Choi. They both survived the Second World War. I think both of them also got some sort of gratuity from the British.
Oh, I think my father may have left these aero modelers when the British left. Maybe something to do with Teddy Holloway. Once Teddy Holloway went off, the British started to leave Singapore in 1950, around that time.
Yeah.
I'm wondering whether the Aero Modelers Society didn't have the English
I mean the
anymore.
British withdrawal.
They were started after the war. Right?
1965.
65, also they were around.
The British withdrawal.
Because
No, sorry.
because they were
65.
no
65
earlier.
was our independence.
Our independence from Malaysia. No, they were much earlier.
Yeah.
Because my aunt was a legislative councillor, ready for Singapore to be self.
Yeah.
In 1948, they were
That time they had internal government.
correct. Marshall under
Yeah,
David Marshall.
Marshall.
Lee Kuan Yew was still very young.
Yeah.
He was in India. Do you think my father then gave up the aeromodeling, didn't do aeromodeling?
That I didn't know because I gave up already.
You also gave up. So
57.
everybody started
to plan my career.
Get married,
Yeah.
have children, and so he moved on to do art.
I know he was very good in art.
And now the Singapore.
Do you know some of the aero modelers, senior aero modelers from RMS? I also saw, they also saw. You know the balsa wood?
Yes, Bollywood.
Your father could carve a propeller, no?
Propeller from a side, wow, with the twist. The
Yeah.
propeller has to have that.
That was marvelous.
Marvelous. I want to show you this picture. Maybe you. I never see any paintings of his. We did a lot of ship paintings, but I never see him paint planes. Maybe just this one. He painted a rocket. I don't know where it is now. I hope I can find it. I don't have one single painting of his planes. I think it's here.
Your mom is still around?
My mom passed away in 2011. Okay. Can you see? He only painted